Hey guys, so episode 16 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is out, entitled Inside Voices. It starts with Coulson in his room in the Hydra base. Now Hale took away his bed, his chair, and his Captain Crunch, which Coulson referred to as that last one really hurt. So you can see a bit more of that Marvel humor right there right away. And then in another room, Creel was trying to get to the gravitonium. Now, General Hale wants him to understand it because the only one who could understand the gravitonium is Ian Quinn, who cannot be found. And Ruby was making sure that she gets the gravitonium in the end and fulfills the prophecy or her destiny as the destroyer of worlds. Which, by the way, this is something I forgot to talk about in the episode review of the last episode. Because we know that Ruby was sort of to be the Captain America, or at least a soldier similar to Captain America, via the infuser to become the new leader of Hydra. And Dr. Whitehall's code name for such a person, the new leader of Hydra, would be the Destroyer of Worlds. Of course, this is what Coulson finally saw as the mark to truly seeing Ruby or the plans of General Hale, especially when she wanted to bring Daisy in, as the catalyst to the end of the world. So good thing for Yo-Yo is she has arms again. And these arms were made by Simmons, I guess, or probably made by Fitz, but fitted properly by Simmons. So you see her hitting the punching bag, she feels better, she says she's better, she's no longer laying around lethargic every day. And, well, it's just not like Coulson's. It's pretty robotish because they just got the materials they needed from the LMD in 2 episodes ago. So hopefully Fitz finds the proper materials needed so that he can make it more realistic, more lifelike like Coulson, so that it could help her forget about not having true arms. So anyway, back to Creel getting the gravitonium. He couldn't control the gravitonium. Something was happening. He could see the scientist who Coulson in the first season pushed into the gravitonium to stop him from, destroying the island, I think. Basically, he said that the gravitonium was alive. So all speculation led to that this scientist became one with the gravitonium. And there was so much hate for Coulson that Creel could now feel. So Deke finally confronts Fitz about being his grandson. Fitz, of course, shows his disappointment for Deke. He was even saying things like, why couldn't it be Flint instead? Because he liked Flint. But deep down, I think Fitz really likes Deke, especially in the last few episodes we've seen them being closer. Well, all episodes except the very last one. And then Deke says that in the last episode, having the LMD point a gun to his head so that Fitz could do what needed to be done actually gave Deke sort of more respect for Fitz, more than just as his grandfather, but as a human being, because that's the kind of thing that Deke would do. Because remember, where Deke grew up in the saga of the Kree saga, Deke was kind of do everything you can to survive kind of person. So later on, Simmons tells Yo-Yo also about Deke, and funnily enough, Yo-Yo tells Fitz, I'm sorry, and Simmons was going, no, he's actually kind of a nice person. So Daisy was going off to find Robin, and Daisy is now in charge. Coulson left her in charge. I guess unofficially she's the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. now that he's gone, but of course she's saying that once they get Coulson back, he can have his job back. And while she's away from the base, on the Zephyr going to get Robin, she left Mac in charge, Mac being the only one who could be able to release Fitz, which she told Simmons definitely not to do because she said that Fitz is sick. So at least we sort of see Daisy's part here, that she understands that Fitz isn't really a bad person and that just everything in his mind caused him to do what he did to her, and that he was ending up fighting for the greater good in the end. So Yo-Yo and Simmons try showing Mac that their destiny is sealed because Deke is Fitzsimmons' grandson, and future Yo-Yo was still alive when they went to the future. So they were trying to tell Mac that nothing can happen to them because the future has already been decided. This is their ploy for kind of I don't know how it goes exactly. They were proving that nothing can happen to them, therefore Mac should release Fitz. So I guess they're trying to prove to Mac that releasing Fitz is actually a good thing, or at least not a bad thing, because they all end up surviving in the future. And in order to do this, um, they sort of do a sort of experiment. What happens is that Simmons plays what I'd like to call shots roulette, with 3 cups of water and 1 cup of hydrophosphoric acid compound, which Yo-Yo is going to juggle behind Gemma's back, and she's going to randomly drink 3 glasses and say that because fate has been decided, she will definitely not get the hydrophosphoric acid. So this was actually a true gamble, but it was a ploy to have Fitz released. Since Fitz had medical experience, when Gemma drank the 3rd cup, she was faking being poisoned, and Mac had no choice but to sort of release him because he is the one who could save Gemma. But later on, they revealed also that they did not bring Fitz into this, so they really played it close to his heart. But she was also saying that had she drank the other glass instead of what she chose, she would have been poisoned. Therefore, sort of showing that their future was really sealed, that they were all going to survive. But then again, this could probably not be the case because as far as protagonists go, you do know that this time our S.H.I.E.L.D. agents are going to be able to change the future. The only thing I had thinking about this ploy was that Mac saw that Yo-Yo was done rearranging the cups, so if anything, she knew where the poison, or where the acid was rather. So why would he think that Yo-Yo would not stop Gemma if she knew that the one that Gemma was drinking was actually already the dreaded cup? So anyway, we go back to the Hydra base with Creel and Coulson. Now, Creel is still disturbed by the gravitonium. He's seeing the scientist. He's having so much hate for Coulson. It's like an experience of hate, but not his own experiences he's getting because he touched the gravitonium rather. So Creel visited Coulson, who tells him about Talbot, that Talbot was in the base, though Creel knew that, but as a prisoner, not as a patient. So Creel spares Coulson in order to help Talbot. This kind of proves that Creel is really loyal to Talbot, and I do not know exactly why that came to be that way. Because if you remember, Creel worked for General Talbot, but General Talbot really never changed his life or anything in order for Creel to owe him that much loyalty. But anyway, Creel helps Coulson and Talbot escape the Hydra base later on. So Daisy eventually found Robin in her mission to do so. Now Robin won't talk or draw anymore because apparently she saw her death, which we all witnessed in the Kree saga right before this one. So later on when Robin saw May, she finally talked. She said, she called her mommy, even in front of her real mom. And of course, that confused her real mother, but we all know it's because she could see the visions of May in the future, sort of raising her. And I guess since she's such a small child, she can't really understand the difference between these visions and memories as much yet. So Robin tells them 2 things. First of all, she says that Coulson will die, and May confirms it. Robin does see Coulson dying. And she shows them a drawing of Coulson and Talbot, and the S.H.I.E.L.D. software tries unlocking where they are based on the drawing. It's a drawing basically of 3 grassy mountains. So there are 3 possible outcomes that the algorithms show the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, and they're searching each one nearest to farthest. So Kree, Coulson, and Talbot are trying to escape the Hydra base, and Coulson is punched right in the chest by an LMD and actually dies, but not permanently dies, the sort of that can be still revived as in old-fashioned drama. Anyway, Talbot is very concerned and tells Kree to do something. So Creel turns into steel and pokes the eye of the dead LMD and uses the electricity to turn himself into a makeshift defibrillator and revive Coulson. And then Talbot tells Coulson, you die more than anybody I've ever met, which I thought was kind of funny, though it is true. So it got me thinking that was this particular death the death that Robin was talking about, at least in this episode, the death of Coulson? But it's certainly not the death that the future Yo-Yo talked about, because she said that everything will go down because they're all trying to save Coulson, and as far as we're concerned, the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. do not even know that Coulson died in this particular moment. So there's another moment with Ruby and the Von Strucker kid. Now, Von Strucker seems adamant on helping Ruby become the Destroyer of Worlds, achieve her destiny, sort of. And these two have formed a secret alliance. We're still not sure if Ruby plans to betray her mother, or if Ruby actually is working for her mother, pretending that she has her doubts about her mother, but it's looking like the former more than the latter. And why is the Von Strucker kid analyzing his dad's notes? Of course, one could say that Von Strucker could understand Wolfgang Von Strucker, the Baron's notes, because that's his dad, but science isn't even his field. And when we go back to the first time we saw Von Strucker, he was on the boat. He was sort of this playboy, spoiled millionaire brat who didn't seem like the educational type at all. So later on, Talbot and Coulson are able to escape using the teleporter thing that General Hale uses to talk to the Confederacy. So Creel is left fighting against Ruby, and Hale tells Ruby that she needs Creel alive, but when they're throwing punches and everything at each other, Ruby later on throws her blade-like disc right at Creel and hits him in the chest, and the only reason he's able to survive is because he takes the form, I guess, of the wood of the stick weapon he's holding. And then General Hale sees this, remembering that she specifically told Ruby that she wanted him alive, and says, "Who do you think you are?" And then she goes and says, "I'm the Destroyer of Worlds," which actually became a mother-daughter moment because both of them smiled. And I don't really get that 100%, but General Hale just told her, "Then go get them." So she's now going after Coulson and Talbot. Of course, she has to look for them first because she doesn't exactly know where they went. But we know where they went. So they escaped to the 3 mountains thing, like Robin saw, but instead of it being 3 grassy mountains, they're like 3 snowy mountains. So maybe Robin is not exactly perfect into translating her visions to them, but this was basically not exactly the same as what she saw. Finally, they ended with a flashback scene. Now, if you remember Reyna, before she even turned inhuman, she was sort of Hydra's mystery woman and then became, or actually was, also the associate of the dad of Daisy when he's gone bad. So Reyna was with Ian Quinn, and it was revealed that she had the Gravitonium absorb Ian Quinn. So we know that the Gravitonium is alive and it has this hate for Coulson. I guess Ian Quinn sort of does too. But how many people has the Gravitonium absorbed? And is this all like a combination of all their minds? Have they all become one living being? So I wonder what's going to happen through all this, though we're bound to have a great episode next week. So if you like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe for more great videos.